There is a particular kind of feeling that often appears on Sundays. It is not always obvious at first. The day may seem calm. There is less urgency, less noise, less pressure than the rest of the week. And yet, somewhere in the background, something feels slightly different. A quiet heaviness begins to appear, not strong enough to fully notice, but present enough that it subtly changes how the day feels. Many people experience this without really thinking about it. They move through the day as normal, but there is a sense that something is approaching, something unfinished, something waiting. Part of this feeling comes from the way the mind relates to time. Sunday sits in a strange position. It is still part of the present, but it also feels connected to what is coming next. The mind begins to drift forward, to Monday, to responsibilities, to everything that has not yet been done. Even if you try not to think about it, the awareness is still there, waiting quietly in the background. And because of this, Sunday can feel less like a full day of rest and more like a transition. A space between two different states, the end of one week and the beginning of another. The problem is that the mind does not always handle transitions well. It prefers clarity. It prefers certainty. But Sunday does not offer either. It exists in between. And that creates a subtle tension. You may notice it in small ways. A slight restlessness. A difficulty fully relaxing. A feeling that you should be doing something, even if there is nothing urgent to do. The mind moves between two states. Part of it wants to rest. Another part is already preparing for what comes next. And because it is divided, neither state feels complete. Rest does not feel fully restful, and preparation does not feel fully productive. It becomes a kind of quiet in-between. This is why Sundays can sometimes feel strangely empty, not because there is nothing to do, but because the mind is not fully present in what is happening. It is partially somewhere else, looking ahead, anticipating, trying to organize the future before it arrives. But the future cannot be solved in advance, and the more the mind tries to control it, the more unsettled it begins to feel. The pressure builds quietly, not from anything real in the present moment, but from everything that has not yet happened. The interesting thing is that this feeling is not actually negative. It is simply awareness. The mind recognizing that time is moving, that change is coming, that a new cycle is about to begin. But when that awareness is not understood, it can feel like discomfort, like something is wrong, when in reality, nothing is wrong at all. It is just a moment of transition, and transitions often feel uncertain. The shift begins when you stop trying to fully resolve the feeling, when you stop trying to force the day to feel a certain way. Instead, you simply allow it to be what it is, a quiet space, a slower moment, a pause between one part of life and the next. When you do that, something subtle changes. The pressure softens, the restlessness fades, and the day begins to feel more complete. Not because anything external has changed, but because your attention is no longer divided between now and what comes next. It is simply here, and often that is enough. Because not every moment needs to feel productive. Not every moment needs to feel exciting. Some moments are simply transitions, and when you allow them to be that, they lose their weight and become something much lighter.